Here in the United States, yesterday we celebrated Independence Day, but we're going to have to make it an entire week next year because we now have two Independence Days that we have to celebrate. So, just on July 1st, the new Independence Day of the world, we got this breaking news. Content Independence Day, no AI crawl without compensation. This is released on July 1st. July is the greatest independence month. July is the independence month. I was proudly birthed in Independence Month. I'm a very independent person. You can ask my mother. I moved out of the house by 35. She was very happy about that. But we now have Content Independence Day. And I'm actually really excited about this. This is something I've said that websites are going to move to. I never had the ability to actually implement something like this because you need to have a footprint like Cloudflare to actually implement something like this. So I'm super happy that they did because this, I think, is something that needs to happen. So no AI crawl without compensation. So basically what's happening right now, there's a couple things that are happening that we're going to cover. They went over this, which is actually, I'm wondering if Matthew actually watches my streams, which Matthew, you can leave a comment if you do. I'd be happy to have you on because I've actually covered this right here. I've actually covered the contract that search engines had with content creators and the web as a whole versus the effect that AI does. So AI I see as a group that is stealing the content, taking it. Steal is maybe a strong word because I'm not using it as the legal sense of steal, but taking and not redirecting traffic, whereas Google and all search engines had a very symbiotic relationship where, you put your stuff on the web and hopefully if it's good, it gets high in the search results, which increases the likelihood of somebody coming to yours. So Google sold ads trying to get people to your website, which is a pretty good system. And AI is completely disrupting that system. So he covers that, which is basically word for word of what I have said previously. So I'm very happy about that. I'm glad people are taking from me. Matthew, like I said, please join the stream if you'd like. I know that you're watching. So the next part that goes on is, what is Cloudflare doing about it? Well, as of today, that changes today, July 1st. We're calling out Content Independence Day. Cloudflare, along with the majority of the world's leading publishers and AI companies, is changing the default to block AI crawlers unless they pay creators for their content. That content is the fuel that powers AI engines, and so it's only fair that content creators are compensated directly for it. This is huge. This changes a lot. And I'm super happy that Cloudflare is putting their foot down like this. Like I said, I could make whatever tool I wanted, but I wouldn't have the reach to do what they're doing. I don't have the network, like literally the physical network to do it and the technology to actually execute on this. I think the next steps is what I'm most excited about, though, because I think this vision takes what I've been saying. I'm a small brain. This is all I wanted. And they were saying, hey, let's take that to the next level. Big braining it. They're big braining it. But that's just the beginning. Next, Next, Merrick will learn to read English, his primary and only language. Next, we'll work on a marketplace where content creators and AI companies, large and small, can come together. Traffic was always a poor proxy for value. We think we can do better. Let me explain. Imagine an AI engine like a block of Swiss cheese. Now, original content that fills one of the holes in the AI's block of cheese is more value than repetitive, low-value content, reaction content, unfortunately dominates much of the web today. So a lot of people would find some of my videos and be like, hey, this is fantastic. It fills a knowledge hole, but it gets very low volume. So there's a lot of content that is super low value, that is just regurgitation. And then there's some really high value stuff, but it's not as searchable and not as viral, but it adds a lot of context for AI engines that might have way more value, even though they're not viewed as many times. So I think that this is actually goes beyond just AI. This actually puts value on new original content, new educational, highly correct, highly succinct content. I'm actually really excited about the concept of actually getting to be paid from these AI engines for coming up with really good educational content. I think that's actually really exciting and really interesting concept from that. You're not, as a content creator, somebody that would try to do this full time, you're no longer shackled to trying to, or in theory, in the future with this, you wouldn't be shackled to trying to come up with what's the most clickbait educational content that you can do to get people to learn. You can come up with really, really good educational content that's really, really good for training AIs that also helps people, but you don't have to worry about necessarily making it some sort of clickbait. I think it's a very interesting idea and might be really good for some people. So, anyways, go ahead, check it out. I'm going to leave a link here. I will also leave a link in the description of the YouTube video. And let me know what you think the future of the AI is. If this is a big deal, we're going to have Independence Week now here in the United States because July 1st to the 4th needs to be a federal holiday. And I'm looking forward to streaming a lot next year in Independence Week because, yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about it.